We have Peggy from South Carolina. Peggy, are you there?
I am.
What can we do to help you?
Well, first of all, I think that your show is very beneficial to a lot of folks.
Thank you very much.
And you probably don't want to answer this question. I'm sure that you have talked about it behind closed doors a number of times.
There's no question that we don't want to answer here.
In the age of COVID, are we going to get to a point where people can bring lawsuits against others who have knowingly or have they've knowingly not used masks or gotten inoculations, and then they've gone out in public and exposed other people to their virus?
Sure.
Peggy, are you saying that a person who knowingly has COVID exposes others? Would you be able to file a claim against that person?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'll kind of start it off because this is going to have to be a general discussion because the real answer is that nobody really knows that answer. And we're in an emergency state. There's different types of rules, but essentially the Supreme Court makes the rules. They make the law. And this has not been brought before the Supreme Court. Now, there might be something similar. There may be another disease that you knowingly put someone in harm's way that a decision has been made on. But this is, I hate to use the term, unprecedented times. And in the law, it really is. So it's hard to answer that question because, and if somebody gives you a hard answer, yes or no, they're wrong. They don't know. No one knows at this point. And so we're all kind of in this together, and the Supreme Court's going to have to figure it out. And then at that point, then you, as the public, can know, is there a case, is there not a case? Vic, what do you think about that answer?
Well, I think that's dead on as a general rule.
Right.
But I think about those cases where people had AIDS and then engaged in sexual conduct with others, and lawsuits under the common law were allowed to go forward.
Sure.
And there are other extremely unusual circumstances, like even today with nursing homes, if you have a situation where a nursing home ignores the standard protocol and knows that
and I think that goes to duty.
That's right.
If you have a duty.
Yeah.
And so the issue I think that's going to become really interesting is, do you have a duty to another human being on the street? Mm-hmm. And what is that duty? And I'm not sure the Supreme Court has laid down and defined that.
And we're going back to law school.
I do think, too, from a liability standpoint, the difficulty with this virus versus some of those other things that we've mentioned are having the ability to trace it to the individual or the person where it came from. And that is
the causation.
It's going to be nearly impossible. You know, from an AIDS standpoint, if you intentionally expose someone to HIV or AIDS, that's typically pretty easy to figure out.
Right.
In this particular instance, I think that's going to be the challenge, is trying to understand where you were exposed to the virus, how you got it, and it's nearly impossible based on everything that I've seen and read. So.
Peggy, one of the classic things that we deal with all the time in dealing with litigation is the first thing the defense lawyer says is, if you got exposed on such and such date, and this person exposed you to that virus, well, how many other people did you see the next day and the day after that? And what event did you go to? And then it becomes a real mess.
So, and I really, I agree with you what you're saying on the HIV thing, but I think and this is purely my opinion, but I think the Supreme Court's going to have some kind of ruling on what the duty is of a normal person out in public. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, under an emergency state, that may be different. that may be higher.
Yeah.
So we just don't know.
We're dancing on a political line right now.
Yeah.
We just don't know the answer for you.
Yep.